What's up, everyone? I'm Grizz, and welcome back for Season 2, Episode 6 of Vinland Saga. We had a nice little world-building-esque episode last week, and we got to see Knut and what he's been up to over the few years of whatever's been going on since we last saw him. How much he's changed and really just grown since then, and his way of thinking and the way he approaches things, just to show you how different he is from previous leaders and everything that he's been through in order to claim the throne himself, which was really cool, and I liked it. It was a nice segue almost into, I think, where we're going to be heading now, as before we kind of had like our little friendship arc kind of. Thorfinn came to the realization that he might want to live, and Einar is like somebody that's there for him as a friend, and now it's kind of figuring out where you go from there. So to give us a break from that, we get to see what's going on with Knut and everybody and within the world, and now I'm assuming here we're going to be back with Thorfinn and Einar again and seeing what's going on. I really don't know where they go from here. I guess it's just find more purpose for Thorfinn, or Thorfinn just to accept and love the little things that he has within life and hopefully find reason and purpose. But I really don't know exactly where we're going to head from there. I guess it's just more work and head towards buying ourselves free within 3 years. If you enjoyed this at all, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button. They do really mean a lot to me. Also, feel free to stick around for the discussion after the reaction portion. Recommend any other shows that you might want to see me watch. And let's get going with episode 6. We need a horse. What do we need a horse for? Looks like we are back on the farms. Oh, the boy's getting a work. Oh, he's got his hair up now. Just like the OPD, something like that. That's how you know he's serious. Letting the past go. A horse to pull that? Make things harder. Force you to stay here. Ah. They were making you do that. That is true. It's never gone well when you try talking to somebody. He's not one with his words. Yeah, we don't care about him. Who the fuck is that? So they still look down on him even though he's free now. Interesting. We don't have any spares. We have 8 just sitting right here. Wow. Yeah, well, if they chose, they wouldn't be here, so... It's a really fucked up way to think about it, though. Why are you walking like that? Calm down. I get you're angry. You want to get free? Yeah. Old motherfucker. This is thanks, Grandpa, I think. Hello, sir. Are you gonna teach us how to farm? Or just give us advice? We do. Do you know we're slaves? Don't bring that up. Just take it. Yeah. Yeah, you asked us for our names. You didn't introduce yourself. Who the fuck are you? The verb. So in exchange for them helping, he's gonna let them borrow a horse. Makes sense. Your backs are like his. Not yet. More work to do. He is, but I don't see any issue with him, like, making you do something in order to get something back, you know? I think it's better than him just saying no and being like, you're fucked on your own, figure something else out, like... See, now, if that's the case, then there's an issue. That is true as well. Yeah. Yeah. Which I don't see a problem with. Yeah, I guess the work's probably a less lot, like, not as hard trying to pull one of those fucking things out, though. Let's go! Strong ass horses. One stump at a time. We fucking did it. We're doing it, brother. Such a good feeling when you finally, like, accomplish something like that you've been working so long on, and you just stand there and look back and admire it. That's how I feel whenever I do, like, some stupid basic shit. Like, even just, like, building, like, these shelves or something, and then, like, putting all the books up. You just stand there and admire it. You're like, alright, nice. Like, you did good. And it really tries to live his life to, like, the fullest. Like, he really seems to be trying to live out, like, everything that these people that he lost and people who passed away can't, you know? You don't know any of this? Nope. You just thought he did? Yeah, dude was born in ice. Yeah, and then he went to war when he was like 5. Wasn't the greatest of places. There's a lot of snow. Where did you get that? Yeah, they're not gonna do that. Who's this old motherfucker? Nope. The old master. So I think it is Snake's grandpa, or dad, or whatever you're saying. Oh, we do a lot of shit for him. Oh. Interesting, cool. Oh, we got 2 now. Where do we get a second one from? I wish I had more knowledge on, like, farming and stuff. I don't know, like, any of the stuff they're doing. I think they're just, like, clearing out land right now still, but... Wow. Yeah, no. Nope. It's all new to him. He really is. He's never really had the chance to experience stuff. That's why he's making them do all the work. He cares so much about the farm. He's probably the one who started it. Have some food. What? Yeah, he stays here, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Is he related to Cattell? I got Thorfinn says hi to everybody. So he stays up and patrols every night.
若い女の家に入り浸って何が警備か。若い女が盗まれないように警備してん。
Oh my god. What do you do to them though? What?
なんだ何してんだこっち来て食えよ。飯まだだろ。
What good people, bro? You sure?
ですか働いた者はその分食うてもよい。
Wow.
そういうのをぶっ飛ばして縛り上げんのも俺らの仕事だ。働いてんだぜ、ちゃんとよ。
Believe it or not, we work.
泥棒に盗まれる分とお前らの食いぶちどっこいどっこいじゃろうが。しらもノルドの男じゃ。剣や槍の心得はある。ああ、その年でチャンバラやってかい。うぬぼれるなヘビよ。お前以上の使い手なんぞいくらでもおるわ。
There's one here. They're like a family, the four of them.
実際あんたが何と言おうとな、この農場の戦力は規模に釣り合ってね。5、60人も兵隊がいりゃ、こんな農場一コロだぜ。な、トルフィン。
I'm not sure if you're not sure, buddy.
なぜここには泥棒より手強いものが来ないんですか。
年に2回バカにならんか王に送っておる。それらを受け取る以上、王にはケティルを守る。
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense and it's really smart.
愚かなことだ。平和を金で買うようなマネを一回の農民に守りきれぬほどの土地を持つ必要が。
That's an interesting way to look at it for sure.
無視かよ。富を増やしては失うことを恐れ、恐れを和らげるために金を使い、また稼ぐ。その虚しさにあのバカ息子は気づく。
Wow. That's really interesting. Time to get to work. He does. I love Snake. Yeah.
よかったな。
でかいや。
それやめてくれ。ガバッと行け、ガバッと。
Look at them, bro. Look at like twins. Your friend. Yeah.
なんだよ、それ。友達だろ？え？違う？
He doesn't know what that is, though.
いや。友達だ。
Beautiful. This is such a wonderful series. I don't know really how else to explain it. Like just this episode alone, it's a journey. I think that's really the only word that I can really use to explain this. I guess the other words I could use is like a process, like a learning process almost. It's, if we want to specifically pick Thorfinn and be like, this is our main character, it's his journey here to find his purpose, but just like find out what life really is. And I guess then what his purpose really is and what he needs to do and what he should do and what he's here for, basically. I love the way that like Einar is almost portrayed in a way, and how Thorfinn's this guy who's kind of given up and like all like everything that he's lost, right? And he has like nothing really to strive or live for anymore. And then here comes this guy who essentially has also lost completely everything. He has nothing to go to anymore, but he's still trying to be hopeful. And as they talked about at the end of episode 4, I think it was, how Einar specifically says that he's like this and he's still living and doing this stuff because there's people who weren't as lucky as him and ended up losing their lives and weren't able to, you know, just completely live out their life. And there's people who would love to be in this shitty situation we're in right now. And I think that that shows you early on into the episode where they talk about how like Thorfinn is surprised almost that like they eat the same exact things every day. Why does Einar have so much energy and so much motivation and like drive to try and start this farming journey that they're going on and try and buy themselves out and become free, right? Where Thorfinn does all the same things almost, but he's the complete opposite in a way. And I think it's just perspective. It's how you look at things. It's your outlook on everything. And Einar has such a positive outlook because he's trying to live for others and he's trying to do all these things, where Thorfinn's only known stuff that's negative in his life. And there really, as he said, nothing's good ever happened to him, but he realistically hasn't had like any real positives. And the positives he has had, he's unable to think about and like reflect and realize what they are and how big of an impact they realistically should have had and have had on his life and will going into the future. So as he's not sold on the idea, of being as positive as Einar is, Thorfinn and Einar do start working towards buying themselves out here. But they run into a problem where they need to remove all these tree like stumps and the roots and stuff from the stuff that they cut down. And the issue is it's too difficult for them to pull out of the ground, and it's going to take too much time if they try and like dig up around it and then pull out of it. So instead they want to get a horse, and if they like tie up the horse with like some rope and stuff, they're able to pull him out of the ground. That's what it seems like, at least. So they go to the retainers and try and borrow a horse, but the retainers won't let them. They bring up something relating to like Petar to the retainers, and they all, it seems, look down on him. So it's not, he's in a position where he was able to buy himself out and become free, and he seems like he has a good relationship with Cattell, but he can't really have that same freedom, I guess, because he bought himself like that. So all these retainers look at him and like think of him as a slave still, but they just can't like push him or bully him around, I guess, as much, because technically he's not, but they still all do look down on him. So that's like a future that appears to be awaiting Einar and Thorfinn, is regardless if they break themselves free, the people who still have that connection and know of that are still going to continuously look down on them, which is unfortunate. But it's just something where for some reason people naturally want to look down on other people or want to feel above somebody else, and because of that they put other people down to try and make themselves feel better. In search for a horse, though, so that they can do this, they end up finding Sverkel or Verkel or whatever, however you say it. And he essentially offers like a trade almost. Do work for me, I'll give you a horse if you do a bunch of work for me when you come pick up the horse, and then do some things for me at the end of the night when you come drop it off. Simple as that. And some people might be like, because Einar even brought it up, I think, oh, he's just making us do his work. Yeah, he is, but at the same exact time, it's a trade. You're doing something for me, so I'm doing something for you by giving you the horse. And it's a real balance. Instead of me just looking down on you and telling you to find your own way when I know there's no other way, and instead of me just completely using you, I'll reward you for your efforts and the things that you do. And I'm not just going to make you, it's the same thing, I guess, that Cattell's trying to do, but he's not really doing it, because he's like, I'll reward you in years down the line. It's one of those, I'll reward you immediately, but just offer me a fair trade here by doing something for me. I'm an old dude who's, body's given out almost, and as we later find out, he like passed out a few days ago on the field, and he's like been struggling health wise. I'm an older dude and I'm still just trying to do all this stuff by myself. Help me out, give me a little bit of, give me a hand, and I'll reward you with what you need, which is a pretty fair trade to me. And then we also see that later on he gives them a plow in order to help them, get out all the roots and stuff within the ground. I don't know, I'm not big on, farming, and don't know all these things and exactly what their uses are, and my history knowledge ain't all there. So if there's anything that's really important for me to know, please let me know. Now, the big reveal moment, I guess, that we have here comes from the fact that Verkel is actually Cattell's dad. So this dude, I am making the assumption, is the one who started this farm, right? I'm assuming he started probably on the same exact plot of land that he's currently working on, and that's what he had when he grew up. And then my guess is he gave some free reign to Cattell, and he took that and expanded it into this massive like empire that they have, this whole farm that they have, and this land that they have now. But the issue with that is Cattell and his dad don't get along very well. It's not that they hate each other or anything like that. It's just they don't see eye to eye on a lot of their things. They have different values and purpose and reasons for doing things, right? And for that reason, that's why Sverkel's the one that you see still working on the farm. He doesn't have other people working for him. He's doing everything himself. He doesn't have this massive plot of land because he doesn't think it's necessary. And that's why him and his dad just don't see eye to eye on that. Instead, he has somebody like Snake who constantly stays with him, and they have like a relationship that's almost like a father-son, and they get along pretty well. They don't, I guess, see eye to eye on everything either, but they do just get along better than the father and son. Anyways, the thing I really wanted to touch on is, well, two things I really wanted to. One, back to the fair trade thing, I guess. Sverkel's such a kind person, and I guess you see this on Snake as well. They have similar values in a way. or I guess just perspectives and ways to think on things. And this line specifically, to me, just shows the way his thinking is, and the reason why that deal that they even made in the beginning was, occurred. If you work today, then you've earned the right to eat. It's as simple as that. I have food in front of me. I'm not gonna hold you from this or not let you eat or anything. If you put in the work, you deserve to be rewarded in some sort of way. Everybody, I guess, have different types of rewards, whether it's monetary or just some sort of satisfaction that you get out of the things that you do. But you deserve to be rewarded in some sort of way. So in his view, I'm gonna feed you. It's the same thing when they just walked into the house. Oh, okay, you're done for the day. Go wash up because it just got, it was just raining outside. I don't want you to sit there and then get a cold and then you can't work anymore and all this. Let me, make sure you take care of yourself. Now, there's a bunch of lines at the back end of this episode I wanted to kind of just talk about, or at least bring light to. We do find out Snake basically works on, I guess, this guard. Like, he's a guard basically, and we talked about before how they have bodyguards and stuff, and that's why the other guys looked up to him so much when they were picking on Thorfinn, right? And then Snake showed up. So Snake seems to be the one in charge of that, and I think he said they have like 13-ish dudes, and I'm assuming that's including himself. So they got like 13 guys to protect this farm. But Snake literally said if a whole group of like 60 dudes show up, we probably couldn't take them. But we find out a big group like that usually never shows up. And that's due to the fact that Cattell buys himself freedom almost. He buys himself protection. And it's not just through these guys. He basically bribes the king and gives him a lot of money so that, he doesn't send his army towards us. But the problem with that is when you start buying yourself free in a way like that, or buying peace, I guess is what I should say, it starts bringing in the idea that if you do stop, or if you stop giving in to the demands, if the request that the king has rises and you can no longer fulfill that request, then he's going to send people to you. So it's great because it buys you time, but it doesn't really buy you freedom in a way. It just buys you freedom for a period of time. Spherical brings up the idea that buying peace with money is foolish. And then he says this line, what need is there to hold so much land a single farmer can't defend it himself? And I think that holds true to where he's at. He looks like he has this one house, he has this one thing of land, and he talks about how he doesn't like his son, the way that he operates or the way that he does things. And it's because the idea that you have to force yourself to buy peace, or that you have to have this big of a thing where you have all these people working for you, but you can't protect it yourself. You have to rely on other people to do things, is kind of an issue to him. He doesn't like that way of thinking, which now I can understand it the other way. The reason why dudes like Snake are even employed is because they're getting hired to do this, right? So you can hire people and have them do that stuff in your place, but then you have to hire a stupid amount of people if you want to make sure that literally nobody can come overtake it. So that's why if you have a farm that's big enough, if you have a farm that's can fulfill you in one part, like a family, it's probably not going to get run over. Maybe your entire village might get pillaged, but it's just, I think that's kind of the route that he's trying to go, that you should be able to protect your own land. And the fact that his son is in a system here now where he's not able to protect his own land and he has to rely on other people is an issue. And then he talks about how too much wealth brings about misfortune, because when you have too much wealth, it makes you fear that you're going to end up losing it at some point. And I think that relates to the things that I just said. He has so much money and now he's in fear that he's going to lose that money. So then he goes out of his way and tries to bribe this guy or tries to buy peace from him. And he tries to do all this stuff to protect himself and protect the wealth that he's brought up. But now it's going to rely on him wasting his wealth in order to give it to this other guy. And then if something happens and the king wants more, like I said, he's going to have to work even harder to gain more. And then he's going to have to continuously keep trying to build this thing that he has until it's going to ultimately reach a point where he can no longer protect himself, because he's no longer going to be able to afford the things that he's trying to purchase here. And that's why Spherical thinks it's so useless and so foolish for him to do it like this, because he's basically just, as I said, buying time. He's digging himself a grave at this point. Like, he's waiting. After a certain amount of time, it's no longer going to be able to keep up. It's like how when you have like a streaming service that you're paying for, you have like a bill that you have, right? Or like even if you like live in like an apartment or something, you have rent and it goes up after, say, each year you sign like a new lease and it just keeps going up. After a certain point, you're no longer able to house yourself within that area area that you stay, and now you have to look for new means, and you have to move out, and you have to maybe get something that's smaller or shrink the size because of the things going on in the world, right? And it's similar situation to this, where after a certain amount of time, he's no longer going to be able to afford the new costs of the things that's happening, and bad things come from that. And then to close things off, we get the beautiful conversation between Thorfinn and Einar, and basically they discuss their friendship, as Einar thinks they're already friends, and Thorfinn didn't really come to that realization, or it kind of just shocked him to like hear somebody else say it. And I don't think it's that they weren't until Thorfinn was like, you know what, yeah, I guess we are. Like, yeah, I think it's just one of those, Thorfinn never realistically has had friends, because even when we saw him when he was younger, I'm pretty sure he used to get into fights with the other kids, right? So he never really got along with a lot of the other kids, I believe. And then when he's like 5, he goes right into war, and then immediately loses his dad, and then has to follow around these people that he has hatred towards for the next 10 to 15 years. So you can kind of see why somebody wouldn't really understand what friends are, or, you know, what friendship really is. So this entire episode, I guess, but entire arc seems to just be his journey to discover and understand and find purpose, and I absolutely love it. And I'm so happy that they're both now acknowledging that they are friends and that they can start working together and moving forward, even though that's kind of what they did in this episode, but just the fact now that they got the acknowledgement out of the way. That's all from me. If you did enjoy, please hit the like and subscribe button. They really do mean a lot to me. You can follow me on Twitter or my anime list. Both of those links are in the description. Recommend me any shows that you would be interested in seeing me react to and talk about, and I will be here again for episode 7 next week. Have a good one.